The reason I am starting this cooking show is because of my mother. Unfortunately, she passed away in February of this year, and the one cookbook that I was able to salvage is this book from 1902. This cookbook is insane, you guys. It has anything in it from how to brine eggs to how to make pemmican. There's possum pie in here. I doubt we're gonna be making that. I am going to cook my way through this book, and I hope you guys join me on the adventure. It's gonna be interesting, I promise you. I can guarantee you that. Okay, hi everybody, and welcome to the segment of the show that we're gonna call Know Thy Protein. It is so important to start out with a good product, a good protein, in this case chicken. I'm gonna show you how to butcher this little baby in about 5 minutes. Know thy butcher. It's important to have a good working relationship with your local butcher because he'll be able to hook you up with some good meats. In this case, a chicken. And what I'm going to be showing you guys is how to break down a chicken in about 5 minutes or less. When you break down your own chicken and you're not getting it on a tray, you're getting all the same meat from the same chicken, which will help it cook evenly. And it's also economical because you are not paying somebody else to do something you can do in about 5 minutes. Okay, so the first order of business are the legs and thighs, okay? So start by taking your knife right here gently with this right through the skin here that's attached close to the breast, being careful not to get the breast itself. Once you have that cut, pick this up and break it away from the carcass. Okay, now you basically have a line that you can follow, and you're going to be cutting right down in between there. And you know, this whole process might scare you, like breaking down a chicken. You might think you need a huge guy like this. You might think, oh my goodness, I need a cleaver. I don't have a cleaver. I don't know how to use it. You don't need any of this, although this thing is so amazing looking and looks I would love to put this to good use today. You don't need special equipment. All you need is your chef knife. You can also use a boning knife to do this. I prefer a chef knife because once you learn how to use a chef knife, you can do anything with it. Okay, so on the leg and thigh, there is a neat little trick that you can use. There's a line that runs through here right at the joint. You can also feel in here, feel the joint. You slice right in between there. And voila, leg and a thigh, okay? So now we're going to repeat the same process on the other side. Cut gently through the skin, set your knife down, break it away, follow that line on the carcass. Okay, I need to break it away a little bit more. There we go, got it. Go right through there, and you can, if you ever have trouble, all you need to do is hold your knife, do your hand like this, and kind of pop right through. It'll go right through for you. Okay, so follow this line again over here. Now I have my 2 legs, my 2 thighs. We're going to move on to the wings. And one nice thing about meat is, or most proteins, is they follow our basic human anatomy, okay? So we both got 2 legs, we've got our thighs. For us women, we know that's a subject we all like to talk about. Here is our shoulder and our arms, in this case, chicken wings. So when you try to figure out like where all these pieces are, think about your own anatomy. It often lines up. Okay, so there's a joint right here in between the wing and the little drum on the wing. Feel in there. And you're basically going to be doing the exact same concept that you just did with the drum and thigh. Look how easy I sliced that off. There you have it. Little wing, and then you go in, get your little drumlet, same concept. There's a joint right there. If you slice in between, it's wham, bam, you got it. Your husband will be so happy that you're cooking up some wings for him tonight. You can compete with B-Dubs or whatever wing store he likes. There you go. There's another one. a lot of this has to do with feeling the joints. Okay, there we go, another drum. Okay, so now what I'm left with is basically what we call the Rolls Royce of the chicken, and that is the 2 breasts. That's what you often pay the most money for unless it's on sale. So I have what's left here, some of the bone and carcass, which is great for stock. So I'm just gonna go through there, get rid of that. That's gonna go in my pot for stock later. And put your chicken with the breast side up towards you. If you want to kind of make a little line through here so you have something to follow, that can be really helpful. And basically what you're looking to do is follow the carcass. The carcass is going to be your guide. He's going to be your best friend, okay? So angle the knife a little bit away from the carcass. And if you kind of push that knife up against your carcass, you're going to feel where you're going and you're not going to have product waste. Okay, and now you might be thinking, oh, but if I do that, it's never going to look that nice. It's going to look bad. Who cares, okay? The best thing, the whole idea here is that you're in your kitchen, you're working, you're getting food on the table, and you're spending time together as a family, okay? And that is so valuable. Nobody starts doing something like this and being perfect on the first try, okay? It's all about experience and practice, 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 okay? It doesn't matter if you hacked up your first breast. It doesn't matter if it doesn't look that great the first time you did it. What matters, like I said, is spending time in the kitchen, spending time with your family. So there we have it. 2 thighs, 2 legs, 2 drums, 2 wings, and a beautiful carcass with no waste that's going to go into your stock. Thank you for joining us on Know Thy Butcher. What better way to carry on my mom's passion, love of cooking than to show my sons how to cook in the kitchen. I am such a pinch and dump kind of person. Beckham's joining us now. You want to do the complete seasoning?
Yes.
Okay, we need 1/4 cup. You think you can measure that? Look at him, he was about to do a mommy there. Okay, so there's 1/4 cup of complete seasoning. I use the Badia brand for that, or maybe you're supposed to say Body. I always say Badia. You can get it at like local Mexican stores. Okay, we already have this one, buddy. Okay, now it's Creole seasoning next. Okay, I use this all the time. In Belize, we do this thing where we cut up fruit like oranges and apples and any mangoes, anything we can get our hands on, and depending what's in season. And we sprinkle it with salt and pepper, and often Marie Sharp's, which is like thebomb.com habanero pepper, by the way. Okay, so 1/4 cup complete seasoning, and then we need 1/4 cup of seasoned salt. But what I'm gonna be using here, this is a little plug for Stephanie Izard from Chicago. She was just named the new Iron Chef off Iron Chef Gauntlet. I met her at the Harvest Fest in Chicago, and I tasted her food at one of her restaurants, the Little Goat Diner, and it was nachos, pork nachos, and I was like, oh my word, this tastes like ricotta. But there's just no way that I'm tasting ricotta on this pork. I was like, this tastes just like how I make it. I talked to her later, and come to find out, she had been to Belize. She loved this Creole seasoning. I mean, the seasoned salt. She said she smuggled some home and created her own blend of it, and it's called This Little Goat Went to Belize. So I was insanely proud. Our country coming through strong. And she wanted me to write her and tell her what I thought about it. So here we go, Stephanie. If you ever see this, we're trying out your seasonal. See, 1/4 cup is this little baby one. It takes 4 of these to make a cup. Whoa, trying to get it out of there. It's kind of compressed. We're gonna basically use this whole thing. Okay, dump it in. Plus a little extra. Ooh, it smells good. It smells pretty original. I'm pretty impressed. So we have a third a cup of vinegar in there. We have 2 heaping tablespoons of ricotta. We have a half a teaspoon of thyme, a half a teaspoon of oregano. We have the seasonal. And next we're gonna do a 1/4 a cup of Worcestershire. This is the Lee and Perrins brand. Doesn't have to be, it's just what I happen to have on hand. In Belize, the cooking is all about what you might, sometimes you might not even necessarily know what you're gonna cook that day. Someone might go hunting or fishing. They often have these little guys that either hunt or fish and walk through the village and sell you something. So you never know what might turn up for the day. And I love that. I love that about our culture. I miss it so much. Like here people feel amazing if they get a box of Hello Fresh in the mail and they feel so, you know, advanced. And I'm like, I've been doing that for years, honey. And it is fresh. Okay, Beckham, 2 teaspoons of this. Hold out your hand, hold out your hand. Okay, dump it in. There's 1 teaspoon. This will add a nice, just a little hint of curry flavor for you and some nice heat. Okay, and this, I like to grind my own black pepper. So we're gonna do about 2 teaspoons of this. I just guesstimate, you know. Black pepper for days, honey. Grind, 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 grind. Help me, Beckham. Grind it, grind it, grind it.
Can I do it too?
We already have that in there, buddy, okay?
But I want to do it too.
No, you can help me stir this. How about that? How about that? Use this spoon right here.
I do it.
That you were giving your doll a spanking with earlier. Okay. Stir, stir. Make it nice and smooth. And then we'll have a paste for the Recado chicken. And it, by the way, people often confuse it and say Ricardo. There is no R in there. It's Recado. And I do still speak Creole. Creole was my first language. It's an English Creole. It's actually a mix between British English and the tribe of Africans that came over and were slaves to the British, which is horrible, by the way. Their languages basically mixed and made the language we know today as Creole. So you might hear me burst out in that every once in a while. Okay, Beckham, you keep stirring. I'm going to wash off the excess water on here. And we are going to put our paste on. See how much that made? It
Mom,
makes quite
Mom,
a bit.
Can I put this on? Can I put it on, Mom? Can I put this on, Mom?
We'll do a little bit of that later, okay? Okay, so just get your hands in there. It'll get all dirty and orangey. Don't worry. Don't freak out. That's what you want. You want it to be nice and covered. One step I almost forgot about and that my mom was crazy about, and I am too, is using your knife to create a little slit in the meat, like this.
I put big, Mom.
Oh, that went a little crazy.
I put big, Mom.
Like this.
Yeah, Mom, I put a big,
And
Mom.
being sure to rub your marinade, your Recado paste in those pieces so the flavor passes through the meat and you get a good flavor all around. You want to give these little bad boys a nice massage. Okay, you want a nice rich color on there. I like mine to look something like that. There's nothing more disappointing to me than going to somebody's house and they said they have Recado chicken and it's really pale and you just don't get the flavor that way. Okay, Beckham, looks like we just made a catastrophe over here. Okay, so this, I have my pan heating on the stove, which by the way, always heat your pan before you add your oil. And this is coconut oil straight from Belize. I stored it in my fridge so it doesn't go rancid, and that's why it looks like this. That's why it's hard and I'm scooping it out. This stuff is like liquid gold, okay? So if you ever go to Belize, have any connection with Belize, have somebody that's going there, has a little room in their suitcase, get yourself some coconut oil, okay? It will literally make or break your dish. I mean, yes, if you just use like the stuff here from the US, you'll get away with it. But make sure if you're going to purchase it here in the US, make sure that you're getting extra virgin, cold express or something like that, because otherwise you're gonna lose the taste. This is also something that I'm hoping to someday be able to show you guys how this is made. My aunt made this in Belize, my great aunt, and they sell it for about $10 Belize for this liter. I just cut the lid off. They send it in their little bottles that they reuse and everything. So it's just, all of it is so sentimental. This whole process for me cooking this chicken is just like a whole experience. It's like, I think about Belize, I think about how my mom raised me with, you know, that as we would say, village girl, you know, just running up and down in the village on the little dirt road. Everybody knows everybody. There's about 100 people in Isabella Bank, and I was related to most of them. And anyways, yes, so this is almost like a religion to me right here. So I take my Recado chicken very seriously. So while that is going to get nice and browned for us, I should have set this out a little earlier so it softened up a little bit, but hey, this is real life. This is how it goes right here. Being a mommy, can't always have that perfection like you normally would try to. You know what? I think I'm gonna have to get my chef knife in there and just work this baby out, because we're going to need a nice amount of this. And then also, pro tip, if you want to stretch your oil, which I often do, like if I'm cooking for a large crowd, but I still want that good, genuine coconut oil flavor, use some canola oil or some peanut oil and add a couple tablespoons of your coconut oil. And you'll still get that nice, rich, genuine coconut flavor without using up your war ration of coconut oil. We guard this with our life. Okay, so that's getting ready to sizzle and pop. I'm gonna chop up some celery here to throw into my stock on the back there. I'm gonna let that simmer and cook while we're cooking up this Recado chicken. And this is just stock. This does not need to be pretty. This is a great way to use up vegetables. If you have end pieces, if you have a batch, you're like, oh, what am I gonna do with that? It's gonna go bad before I need it. Chop it up, throw it in your stock. This will be great later for soup. You can cook it down and make a demi-glace. Doesn't need to be pretty, and then you'll skim that later. My fat looks like it's hot. I'm gonna start throwing some chicken pieces in there. You want to hear that sizzle. That's where you're gonna get your nice brown caramelized color. And you do want to get a real good color on here before you remove it from the pan. Don't crowd your pan while you're cooking that. So we got our first batch in there. I'm gonna move on to our green peppers. I probably have close to 10 pounds of chicken, so I'll do about two of these peppers. My peppers split open here on me. This is actually a red and a yellow pepper, but they have basically the same flavor. So remove your whites, that's what adds bitterness. Just cut straight across like this to do that. So my chicken is nicely browned. I have it over here in my bowl. I am gonna throw my peppers in. what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a quick saute on these. And essentially what we're doing is we're deglazing our pan. Every time you add vegetables or anything to a pan where you cooked your protein in, the moisture from those vegetables is gonna release the fond on the bottom of the pan. And your fond is those little crispy pieces that got cooked on the bottom. That's where most of your flavor is gonna come from. I have a whole onion in here, 4 cloves of garlic, 2 peppers. I'm about to put a whole jalapeno in. If you're scared of too much heat, that's what you do. You add the whole thing and you'll get that good flavor without the extra heat. I'm about to do some cilantro, some more what?
Some more chicken.
Okay. Just do a coarse chop on this. It doesn't have to be real fine. It's gonna get sauteed down and it's gonna get cooked down. I love me some cilantro. I always cook with a lot of it.
Can you put that on, Mom?
So I have my vegetables pretty close to soft here. And don't be afraid of all this splatter. It's gonna get greasy, it's gonna get dirty. That's how you know your food is good. You gotta have that heat. And saute in French actually means to jump. So your vegetables and your oil is gonna be jumping all over the place. That's good. You need that heat to extract these flavors, the essential oils from your vegetables. We're gonna add the gravy that came off the bottom of the pan there. Kind of reduce that a little bit. Again, I got my stock getting ready to simmer back there. That has celery, carrots, and onion. The French word for that is mirepoix. It's 2 parts onion to 1 part carrot and celery. We're gonna be skimming that later. Look at those beautiful colors. That's why I use the different peppers, just for the color. I'm gonna put that chicken back in here. And what we're gonna do is toss it into an oven with the cover on it, the lid on it.
Can I put it in, Mom?
I could throw these, Becca wants me to put these stems in, and we can. It's gonna cook down, it'll add more flavor. I'm gonna be moving some of these veggies to the top just so everything's nice and covered.
Mom,
all these different pieces are getting flavor. Ooh, this is going to be off the chain. Can't wait to eat this. And if you want extra gravy, you can always add some water to this. This has plenty of seasoning and flavor, so you're not gonna have to worry about. You're not gonna have to worry that you're like thinning it down too much. This is gonna extract a lot of flavor. So throw my lid on this like that. Put it in my 350-degree oven for an hour, and you are going to be too legit to quit, honey. Your dinner guests are gonna be so impressed.
With the man, Beckham Bakes.
Welcome to our segment we call Beckham Bakes. Here's Beckham. Beckham, say hi to the camera.
Hi.
Okay, we are gonna bake tortillas today, or as we say in Creole, tortilla. So it's not that different. I'm pretty sure you could figure it out. Okay, so we're starting out with nobody. This is baking powder. We don't want that much. That would be crazy. Okay, so we're starting out with some Bob's Red Mill organic, just all-purpose flour. Just make sure you use something higher end and not too fine, like pastry flour. Okay, buddy, we're gonna measure this, okay? We're gonna need 4 cups. Okay.
4 cups.
You hold a measuring cup for mommy, okay? Or actually, you know what? When you do this, don't like measure precisely. No one in Belize ever does. You basically get in there, scoop whatever comes out. Do about 4 of those. Maybe not that scant, but you know what I'm saying.
I want it.
Okay, but we gotta fill it up, buddy. Uh-oh, flour shower. Okay, we gotta fill it up like this. There, now dump it.
Oh, I dump it.
Oh my goodness. That was amazing. Now 3 more. 3 more of those. Okay, the ingredients for tortillas is so basic. You should always have these on hand. Baking powder, 2 teaspoons of that. Rounded teaspoon of salt, and about 1 3/4 cup of water for 4 cups of flour. That's gonna vary a little bit, you know, depending on your flour and everything. You kind of judge it. If it's too dry, add a little bit more. If it's too wet, you know, add a little less. It's that basic. Okay, Beckham, this is the 2nd cup. Dump it in. Okay, now we need 2 more. How about I roll this down for you? Help you out a little bit. How about that? That is just so much easier. Mommy should have done that from the start. Helped you out. Here, there we go. Okay, 2 more, okay? Oh my word, I'm forgetting one of the most important ingredients, shortening. You need about 1/4 cup of shortening or lard. Okay, Beckham, we gotta measure a little bit better than that, okay? Let's get this one about right there.
I'm gonna dump it.
Okay, that's 3.
I want to dump it.
Good job. Okay, 1 more. 1 more, buddy. We need 4. Or did I miscount? Okay.
I got a big one.
Okay, gotta fill it up a little bit more. All the way to the tippity top. There you go. 4 cups. Yay! Did a little bit of schoolwork right there. Okay, now Beckham. Listen, buddy, we need 2 teaspoons of baking powder. You think you can do that for Mommy?
Yes.
Okay, fill this up. Okay, but now you gotta scrape off the top. Scrape it off. Good job! Look at that professional scrapage. Leveling. That's probably a better word. Good job, buddy. Okay, that's all we need. Now we need some salt. 1 teaspoon of this, okay? Good job. 1 teaspoon of salt. Okay, buddy. We're pushing this table around a little bit. We gotta keep it steady, okay? Okay, I'll put that closer to you. You start mixing that around for Mommy, okay? And I'll get the shortening. Okay, we need 1/4 cup of shortening. Okay, Beckham. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna start kneading this till the shortening is incorporated. Okay, doesn't have to be in there very well.
I'm gonna put water in it.
Okay, you pour the water and Mommy's gonna knead. Not all at once. Not all at once. Just little at a time, buddy. Okay, like that. And sometimes if I want my tortillas to rise faster, I use warmer water. This is looking a little bit dry. I'm thinking we need to add some more water. Okay, I'll be adding a little bit more
I got a
water.
big one, Mom.
You got a big one? Oh my goodness, I love it. This is called a camal. In Belize, this is what we traditionally use. This is what we traditionally use to bake our tortillas on. So if you see someone that claims they're Belizean and they don't know what a camal is, they're lying. They snuck in from somewhere, because everybody in Belize knows what tortillas and what a camal is. We all tried to steal tortillas off our mom's hot camal at some point or the other and burned our fingers. Okay, I'm gonna add a little bit more flour. Still looking a little stiff. I don't know if this flour is just, the texture is just a little bit different.
I got a big one. I got a big one, Mom. I just got a big one.
You got a big one. Goodness, you're good at that. Okay, let's knead this a little bit better. Then we're gonna wanna turn this out onto our table.
Cold.
And something my mommy always taught me to do was to take your hands like this and go around your bowl and clean it out super well. She would get so upset at me. Now we get this out on the table that we're gonna knead. Okay, let's set this off to the side. And what we're gonna do, buddy, here, let's split up the work. You take half, okay? and we're gonna knead it. We're gonna knead it. We're gonna knead it, knead it, knead it till it's nice and smooth and somewhat elastic. I probably added a little bit too much water, so I'm gonna have to knead it a little bit to get it to dry out a little bit again.
Circle.
Beckham, should we sing a song while we're kneading this?
Yes.
What should we sing?
Move it.
I like to move it, move it.
Yes.
You sing it, you sing it.
Sing or spoon.
Okay, you start and then I'll follow.
I like to move it, move it.
I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. She like to move it, move it.
She like to move it, move it.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I
know it's not every day you get to go to a concert like that for free.
I'm patting it.
You're patting it. You're doing such a good job patting it. And you can be pretty rough with this.
Pat, pat, pat. Pat it, Mom.
This is not a high-end artisan bread or anything. This is just a staple that we have almost every day. In the morning we eat it with eggs, beans, anything, our meats that we fry up. We often eat it with butter and some jam, anything that's in season,
It's
guava, mango, sorrel jam, berries jam is just one of my favorite of all times. I don't think that there's anything in the US that I can quite compare it to.
Mom, we're gonna smash it.
So it's just something you're gonna have to try if you go to
I'm gonna
Belize.
smash it.
Okay,
Mom.
not at this point, buddy. Now we're ready. Now we're about at the texture that we want. It's soft,
Stop,
it's
Mommy, no.
smoother, and then we start, you roll it out.
Stop, Mom, stop.
Okay, Beckham, give me 1 second, buddy. I'll show you how to do something really cool in 1 second, okay? We're gonna roll it out into a log like this. Let's put these over here so we have room to work. If you work in a mess, your product is gonna be a mess. So I try to clean up as I go. Okay, we're gonna give you one ball, Beckham, okay?
It's a big ball.
There, now roll that around in a circle till it's like nice and smooth, okay? So what you're gonna wanna do is form some little balls and just kind of knead them around with your hand till they're nice and smooth.
Too, Mom?
Yep, you roll that one. Let's race. Who's gonna win? Who's gonna win? What? Go, 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 go.
I can't do it.
Oh, you can? Okay, all right, Mommy's gonna help you. Roll, 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 roll. Okay, we're gonna leave this one right here so we know that one was yours, okay? In 1 second here, I'm gonna be showing you how I make my coleslaw. This is not necessarily traditional to Belize. We don't eat a lot of like lettuce salads and stuff like this. This salad, this coleslaw is kind of our own version and our own take on it. We use a homemade dressing, and I always add both white and purple cabbage, cilantro, jalapeno, and bacon. And that's definitely our own little spin on it, because in Belize you would never be adding bacon to coleslaw. It just would be way too expensive, wouldn't be accessible. It's just my way of hacking and making something a little bit more flavorful. We're having some really fun shaped balls here, but we're gonna go with it, and you will be seeing these baked off in just one moment. Good job! Woo-hoo! Woo-hoo! Now we're gonna cover that up with a dish towel and let those rise for about 10-15 minutes. It can be up to half an hour if you like. And we are gonna get started on our dressing for our coleslaw. Woohoo! Good job, Beckham.
Break it.
This is my favorite way to do bacon. I use a half pan layer it with foil. If you have foil, this happens to be literally the last little piece I have left. So this is going to help me nothing. But put your foil, if you have a baking rack, set it on top. Unwrap your bacon and set it on top. And your bacon grease will drip on top of that foil. Your bacon's gonna be nice and crispy because it's not sitting in the oil. I prefer my bacon more limp, but I mean, it won't make it so greasy. And when you take it out of the oven and it's finished baking, you peel your foil off and it's easy peasy cleanup. So I'm gonna throw that in the oven at about 450 degrees. This is gonna be going into my coleslaw. So I just got my chicken out of the oven. It was in there for about an hour at 350 degrees. It looks absolutely gorgeous. I can't wait to wrap a piece of this chicken in some tortilla and put my face in it. It is going to be so yummy. So in the blender, I have 1 cup of sugar, a 1/3 cup of vinegar, 2 tablespoons of mayonnaise, 1 tablespoon of mustard, celery seed, and some Creole salt. And I'm about to blend this up and add my oil very slowly. The trick to making a dressing like this in the blender is adding your oil slowly so that it emulsifies and it doesn't break. And also turning on your blender.
Break it.
If you do that right, you should never have to worry about your dressing breaking. Back on. What are you wearing?
I'm grabbing
It's the pants. It's the You're killing me, Beckham. These are pants, okay? This thing that you have on your head is pants. That was my entertainment for today.
I don't like this thing.
What we're about to do next is coleslaw. I'm gonna go ahead and quarter this. I found that that's the easiest way to get cabbage chopped really nice and thin. There's nothing I hate more than when somebody chops cabbage into huge chunks. It doesn't look very appetizing and it's not very fun to eat. I'm just cleaning this up because this was in my fridge and it got a little discolored. I love to mix, for my coleslaws, for color, I love to mix the purple cabbage and the green cabbage together to get that really nice pop of color. And there goes my cabbage. Okay, into this coleslaw, we will be putting carrots. So what I like to do, this is a really easy, quick way to get some julienne carrots. These are our matchstick carrots, which is technically a julienne carrot. And it's much faster, much easier than julienning a bunch of carrots, unless you actually want to take the time to do that. You can also, nowadays, they have available, they have coleslaw mixes available. I don't care for them because, like I said, the cabbage is often so thick and in big chunks, and I just do not like that. Sometimes they do have available at our local grocery store, they'll have the angel hair cabbage just chopped by itself. That's really nice to get and saves you a lot of work as well if you're looking for a quick coleslaw to throw together. Okay, so we're gonna have some green cabbage, some carrots, the bacon is in the oven, some cilantro, and some jalapeno. And this salad is really, you can tweak this around a lot. sometimes add stuff like mango, pineapple, whatever I have in the fridge that I think, oh, that sounds good. You can even do something like golden raisins, you know, just like that sweet and savory type of thing. Just sometimes I even throw something like a little bit of deli meat that I might have in my fridge, like little ends, and brown them real good, crisp them up, and dice them up and throw them in there, and add some really good meaty flavor. Perfect bacon. It's a little bit crispy on the outside, but it's still kind of limp in the middle. And this is one place I think people should spend. When you buy bacon, buy a good quality bacon. If you buy a cheaper bacon, the cut is not going to be as good. It's not going to be as thick, and your flavor is not going to be as good. You're going to pay a couple more bucks to get a pound of high quality bacon, but it is so worth your extra dollars. Pop this up. Also, a little tip, one that I did not use here, is to put your bacon in the freezer, and that'll till it's frozen, and then chopping it into little bits and baking it on your pan. That way, it's much easier to slice through. It's almost impossible to slice through room temperature bacon. You want a nice chop here. You want a little bit of bacon in each bite. Okay, I've had my Kamal heating. One old school trick is to go like that, and if the little balls dissipate or roll around, you know it's ready. Our tortilla's been raising for about 30 minutes now. Pat them into a little round, use a rolling pin, roll them the long way like this. I literally have done this a million times as a kid. I haven't done it as much lately. Not this one, buddy. We're gonna bake this. This is gonna be delicious. And this tortilla can basically be the transportation to any food you want. Pick it up, drop it on your Kamal, move it around a little bit so it doesn't stick. And the reason you want your dough to rise, and you don't want to roll them out right away. If you don't, the tortilla is going to shrink right back down into a fat little tortilla, and it's not going to bake evenly. So, here we go. Here's our second one. Some people are amazing at this. My mom always said mine looks like the map of the United States. Or map of the world is what she always called my tortilla shapes. But hey, as long as it tastes good, okay? This is basically a flat palette for anything you want to add to it. Or canvas, not palette. This is a canvas. Okay, let's check this. Want a little bit of browning on it, go ahead and flip it over. You'll start seeing little marks in it too, little wrinkles. That gives you a good indication that you can flip it. Here's my dressing that we've made. Go ahead and drizzle some of that on there. I love the sweet and savory combination of this coleslaw. Okay, my tortilla is ready to come off of here. You know you're an expert when you can grab them up like that even though they're hot. Here's my chicken. It just came out of the oven. Look how much gravy this chicken released. That's one thing I love about braising chicken. It releases so much of its own juices. You don't need that much. You don't need to add that much gravy to it. So here's a thigh. It's falling apart. It's so tender. Go. And the thing about Belizean food is it's soul food. So I like to call it ugly food because it's not very it's not a Michelin star dish by any means in terms of presentation, but it is absolutely flavorful and delicious. The flavors will knock you right out of the park. Okay, make sure you got plenty of bacon on that bite. Put that on top of my tortilla right here. And you make yourself a little... The traditional way to eat this would be to tear a piece of tortilla right off, scoop some of that chicken, some of that coleslaw,